Hey everyone, JCS Starcraft here, bringing you the semi-final match of the, the Go4SC2 Weekly Cup between BratOK as the Red Terran and Socke as the Teal Protoss. I think this is Teal. If it's wrong, please correct me, but that's what I think it is. Both players very, very active in the beta, and both very highly ranked right now on Starcraft. I think BratOK is, both of them are definitely within the top 20. I think BratOK's like number 14 in the world according to SC2ranks.com, and Socke is number 16 or something like that. Ridiculously good players on both sides. I just watched some of the BratOK's quarterfinal games that he played. Wow, I'm trying to remember who he played now, and I don't remember, but it was a Zerg player. My memory is getting fried because I've just been casting too much. Anyways, back to the game. Hopefully I'll remember it while I play right now. Socke now just chrono boosting away at his units. Looks like he's going to be going for a 12. No, he's not going to be going for a 12 gate. He's going to be going for a 13 or possibly even more. No, he wants as many pros out there as possible. BratOK, of course, has a very bio play. There we go, 13 for the gateway. And yeah, BratOK prefers to play mostly Marines, Marauders, or even just Marines and Ghosts against the Protoss. So we'll see whether or not he enacts it here. Both players spawning, Socke at the 3 o'clock, BratOK at the 6 o'clock here on Metalopolis, so the furthest distance apart that they can possibly be. And we'll see whether or not that's going to turn out to be advantageous or disadvantageous for either player. Not sure which one each player prefers, of course. BratOK going with a pretty standard opening 12-13 on both as well. And now Socke has gotten his assimilator up and running. Going to be throwing down that core, cybernetics core pretty early as well. And BratOK, what is that the SCV doing out there? Not really sure. Pumping out a single Marine, getting the orbital command on 15, and going to be building a second barracks. A sneaky second barracks. Is he going to be rushing, trying to do a 2 racks Marine push? Timing attack on Socke? This is interesting. Kind of hit it out in the outskirts right now. So, interesting way to start this matchup between the two of them. BratOK now just going to come in, going to scout, see that Socke is getting that second assimilator, so going to be pushing for the Stalkers, the Sentry combination, getting that Stalker, not even opting for a Zealot to start the game, knowing that his opponent is cross-map and will have plenty of time to react, but does not know that BratOK has a hidden barracks right here. And what is he going for? I'm not entirely sure. Getting the Tech Lab on the first barracks, so getting a Marauder, and just going to be pumping out a whole bunch of early units. I have seen that if he does get concussive shell research, which he is doing against a kind of a 4-gate or, you know, like 3-gate robo build against the Protoss, if you can push in micro, just 2 Marauders, I think, and 2 Marines, or just as many Marines as you can get, I think he's going to be waiting for his second Marauder to come out and time it so that when concussive shell finishes that he'll be good to go. Also, this SCV coming in to scout and possibly build a bunker. This is a interesting timing attack from the Terran player. I've seen it used before by other players as well. And Socke now going to use his poor SCV, going to just get killed right there while it's going to scout. So here it comes. He has 2 Marauders and 4 Marines. You can actually push in a little bit earlier. I've seen it push in earlier, maybe on smaller maps as well. But with the slow right now, these Stalkers just aren't going to be able to do anything. Marauders, more Marines being added to the mix. What else is being built now? Going to be taking up to the factory as well. And so going to be pushing in this early pressure on Socke, forcing him to kind of get his units out as fast as possible. Now, the force field should hold off these units, especially on this ramp. So, you know, not entirely sure if BratOK's going to be able to do any sort of significant damage early on, especially with this guy right here. Oh no, Socke! Oh, just kind of testing it in the ground, just seeing what's going on. Going to be throwing down the force field, and BratOK trying. I think he's trying very hard to take out this sentry as quickly as possible. Socke, meanwhile, has gone for a fast Void Ray, and we will see if this is going to pose a big problem to BratOK, who has a good amount of units right now, timing that Void Ray to come in at the right time. Really wants to focus fire on those Marauders, really needs to get rid of them because they can just kite these Protoss units, these ground units, and the Void Ray is fully charged, able to take everything out. So great counter by Socke, getting that early Void Ray out there and going to be getting a few more as well. Back at BratOK's base, he has gone and his starport is going to be getting the Viking to counter the harass that he's going to be receiving from the Void Ray right now, and going to be lifting off and using his factory as kind of a scouting unit right now in the air. Here come the Void Ray, going to be charging up on this statue right here. A great play, charging up on anything that you can before you come in, because once you're charged, you do a significant amount of damage. Going to be losing the charge, but probably just going to be recharging, or even, and this is the problem with this factory right here, he's going to just charge on this factory, no problem, and going to be able to get away with it. BratOK using his SCVs to hold off his ramp while he does fire at everything else, and great job microing by BratOK. Socke going to be setting up his warp proxy gate right there. Decides not to because he saw what happened to his units, and right now a good counterattack by BratOK. Right now Socke bringing in the Phoenix to do some sort of harass as well. Not sure what he's going to be able to do with that Phoenix. Probably wants to take out this medvac, but it's surrounded by way too many Marines. Is he going to push out more Phoenixes? Looking at his production tab right now, we have combat shield being researched for BratOK, just going to be pushing more of that Marine Marauder medvac combination to really push in. Haven't seen that Ghost Academy yet. I guess this is a kind of a different build and a different reaction when your opponent has gone for the Void Rays, or possibly a new build by BratOK. Maybe not really using that Ghost build quite as much anymore, and now he's going to be confident, going to be try pushing in, doesn't need this factory anymore to kind of do any sort of scouting. Possibly might have been using it also to try to occlude any sort of vision right there and try to kind of mask things from going on to make it difficult to click in that area. Not too sure. I think that's something that you saw in an early Brood War, but not as much here. Right now, BratOK testing the grounds, running in with this SCV, and Socke just trying to figure out what is going on. Is he going to get attacked? And yes, he is. Stimming ahead of time so he can dash in there. Not stimming until, not waiting until he's in the middle of battle, and just kiting the units really well, trying to back them up as much as he can. Socke is focusing on this medvac. It's really important to take this medvac out, but I think just spent too much time on the medvac itself, and going to be losing, pretty much lost all his ground units while he was trying to do that. The medvac still is intact and still alive right now. BratOK just going to be frying this expansion, and having taken one of his own, it looks like Socke has gotten, is getting speed upgrade for the Zealots, a great counter to the ground army of the Terran, and as well as trying to get rid of this medevac in the air, just doing too much healing, and finally is able to get rid of it with this Phoenix, able to lift up that Marauder and kind of keep him out of the fight for a little bit, but these Marines are just going to punish that Phoenix for doing that to their Marauder friend. And right now, this infantry unit of Socke just doing a ton of damage to of BratOK, I'm sorry, to Socke's base. This natural might fall. How much HP? 1 left, and it goes down with some room to spare. So Socke now having to rebuild. Meanwhile, it looks like BratOK's just going to be going to macro up, knows his opponent is in a significant amount of trouble. Probably doesn't have enough units to really counterattack it right now. Spend almost all of these units trying to defend his base. So BratOK going to be using this time to macro up as much as he can and push in with a much bigger army. Look at the army count right now. BratOK up 56 to 36. Might suspect that his opponent was probably holding some units back, but in fact, Socke was just trying everything he can to stop that attack from BratOK. And BratOK's army, looking at the unit composition right now, just Marines and medvacs. Once those High Templar kick in, he's going to have to do a lot of micro to try to keep those Marines out of the Psystorm range, and possibly try to split up his units as well and not let them clump into that big bio ball that they naturally gravitate towards. Socke now, Zealots have the speed upgrade, so the Zealot High Templar combination, a pretty deadly one against the Marine Medic ball. No more Marauders at all. It's just going to be pulling it out, although he is getting another, he just threw down another tech lab, so might be transitioning over to it. Getting the Raven in case those DTs start coming out at him, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen against him, but just in case, you know. Or possibly he is definitely afraid of the Void Rays as well, though probably not as much right now. Only has that one right here. This placement usually indicates that he wants to stop any DTs from coming in here and doing an attack. Meanwhile, just kind of scouting and kind of has pretty good map control right now. BratOK definitely ahead, able to scout with his factory. Not going to pump out any factory units at all, not even Hellions, you know, just needs to build that to get the starport. So throwing out a few more barracks, and just looking at the income tab, BratOK significantly ahead, mining with 47 harvesters and his mules. Fuel blast, looking at the army, 94 to 59. He should not have a problem with this at all. Socke really needs to be able to use his Templars really well and pull off some amazing Storms. If he had some sentries out on the field, he could do some force fielding as well to try to trap the units in. Pushing it right now, and it looks like, well, there is a proxy pylon going down for Socke, but you know, once this army pushes in, I think that's pretty much going to be it. We'll see, maybe if he gets some lucky Storms off, and if he is able to get BratOK while he's not paying attention, then we might be okay at that point. But oh, it looks like there's going to be a rogue, another dropship coming in from behind, a two-prong attack by BratOK. And right now, let's see if that's going to be able to work. Where did that one go? There it is, dropping off at the main, and right here, oh, a Storm being thrown down. Looks like Socke was able to get off a Storm while BratOK was focusing back on the base, trying to spread out his Marines as much as possible. These Marines don't have a lot of life. Just one more Storm and a whole bunch of them will run down as they do fall right there. But BratOK doing a great job microing and just taking everything out here on the ground. Meanwhile, back at the base, has mopped up almost everything. Looking at the harvester count, most of the harvesters, I guess, have run away somewhere, but at this point, things are just not looking good for Socke, and looks like the Raven taking a little victory spin right there. This two-pronged attack, a great job by BratOK to get in there, and although Socke might be able to hold it off for just a little bit longer, nope, Socke's just gonna call the GG. So great game by BratOK, starting with that interesting early pressure onto his opponent and able to really use that bio ball against and split up his army. Good micro. So BratOK takes game one of the semifinals. This is JCS Starcraft, and I'm signing off.